In the process, what happens is it is the sissification of the masculinity. And then in that process of everything's going to be okay, don't worry. And then a stronger, more conservative, dominant, masculine society comes in and just decimates it, i.e. Rome coming in, or what do they call, I always mix it up. Basically, they came and just decimated.
Audio check, audio check.
Traders, in this video, we'll walk you through our new AI crypto analysis tool that's revolutionizing how traders analyze markets. These
Trader row here. NASDAQ didn't get me, bounced, almost stopped me out. Look at that. I did not get stopped out on the NASDAQ trade. That's insanity.
Sorry, everybody. Having a little audio routing issues here this morning. Pedro and I'll get started in just a minute. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Listening to All Gassed Up by Wes.
Holy moly, lonely, only when I'm coldly zoning, cozy in my holy home, without my homie ceremonies, owning in my own, rolling through my dome, hoping that I'm only throwing stones to get you going. Maybe you could clone me, break the ache and make me hate the way forsaken snakes take their stake in what I make and break it. Maybe lay it on a plate, maybe shoot it out in space to watch it die. Either way, I ain't trying to lie.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another great episode of this wonderful show. It's award-winning, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. But as I always say, someone's got to win it, so we might as well give it to ourselves. Anyway, today is July 10th, 2025, one day closer to the new year. One day closer to my birthday, one day closer to the sun going supernova and solving all of your problems in the world. Well, that's not a good joke, but Pedro and I are here to solve those by telling you all about crypto, Bitcoin, crude oil, and everything that is going on in the world right now that has to do with education and entertainment and digital assets and what's going on. A lot going on. The title of today's show is, if you didn't notice, Bitcoin printing. Bitcoin is printing, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin's at its highs right now. Printing it. Anyway, yesterday we've been talking about crypto trading in this what's called the idiot box. Hold on a sec. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I got a feedback in my ear. Bitcoin was traveling along the past couple days in what we refer to as in the idiot box, in between 105 and 108,000 for a couple of days, not really going anywhere, not really consolidating, not really breaking out, not really sinking below it, not giving us any kind of direction at all. But then all of a sudden yesterday, it just started moving and grooving, and we pushed all the way up, and depending on your platform, we hit a new all-time high. The futures market on Tether, for sure, definitely hit a new all-time high. I mean, the Tether, BTC Tether on Binance seemed to have hit a new high. Other charts did not, but we're right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're right there at the top of the charts. We're ready to go. We are ready to go to push up into those new areas that people are talking about at 120, 130, 140, 150. I know I starting to sound like those O-face guys. I get it. Anyway, we'll be talking about that more in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro will be with us shortly. He's just finishing up a conference call that we're on. Our show is starting earlier today because it's finishing earlier today. I'll be here until 12 o'clock Eastern time. And Pedro will be here, and it's likely that he will go on even after I leave the air. Bring you more information about what we were talking about yesterday about blockchains, more information about the coins that represent those blockchains, and what is going on with that. Let me make a small query now, see if Pedro is going to be on here for a minute, or do I have to hold the fort with you guys? As usual, welcome to everybody on Rumble. Thanks for joining us. Chris, if you're listening to us right now, we're your guys. We're your guys for Blockchain Futurist Miami. That's right. All right, let me switch off the intro music there and get into the heart of the show here. We'll go back to some yeah. Welcome to everybody watching us on X. I really appreciate it. Give me a second here to get the X comment feed up. Welcome, X viewers. Stick around. The average view on X is very short. People's attention span on X is short. Feel free, if you're watching on this desktop, right-click on it, open us up in a new browser, and let us run in the corner of your screen. That's how you can do it on X. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the news I got for you today that you will enjoy before Pedro comes on and gives you the goods about where the market's going. This is how you know people have gone absolutely crazy. And we're talking about Washington, D.C. That's right. We're talking about Washington, D.C. here. I got to turn this down in my ear here. But anyway, in Washington, D.C. yesterday, we had hearings. I know I talk about the hearings in Washington, D.C. a lot, and a lot of you get bored with it really quickly. But the Democrats came out, led by Elizabeth Warren, in the Senate Banking Committee, that she used to be an important member of, and now she's not because the Democrats no longer control the Senate. But she still gets her time. She still gets her time as a ranking member and a committee member to bring up half-truths, no-truths, and get misfits, dimwits, and half-wits to testify for her. And we had a good bunch of them come in and talk about how crypto was still just a big scam, and how even if they put regulations in place, this is their reverse logic yesterday. They were talking about, we need regulations, got to regulate this stuff. And so the Trump administration said, okay, we're going to have some good regulations. They've came out with stablecoin regulations. They've got the Clarity Act coming through Congress right now. These are going to set the baseline for everybody to act legally in the U.S. with crypto, to iron out all these enforcement issues that the SEC's been having problems with. It's going to be a good thing. Level playing field. It's what everybody wants. All the crypto companies that left the U.S. to come back, domicile here, pay taxes here, employ people here. All of that's good. Elizabeth Warren says, no. No, no, no. No. If this act gets passed, it will just encourage more crypto. And if crypto grows, that's bad. So it's the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my entire life. Anyway, so this goes on yesterday. And then the Democrats introduce a bill to sanction the country of El Salvador. El Salvador, as you know, we've talked about, was the first official home of a Bitcoin, to be used as official tender, right? President Bukele came out and just said, look, we're going to get on the bandwagon here for crypto. It's going to be a good thing. And started moving his economy to do that because they're tired of printing money to zero. They wanted to operate on a system. So they're currently operating on a lot of Bitcoin-centric things. They issued a bond raise in Bitcoin. They're using stable coins heavily down there. They don't want to spend all of their time as a small country of 4 or 5 million people focus on supporting their own currency. They're like, let's bring the strength of the rest of the world into this, which many countries do by just bonding their currency to the U.S. dollar, like the UAE and Saudi Arabia and so forth. But that also is difficult to do. You have to maintain your economy has to be able to afford to stay on the U.S. dollar. Your people have to be able to afford U.S. dollar style prices. So we said, all right, we're going to go with Bitcoin. And Elizabeth Warren and crew introduce a bill that says, we think that El Salvador is just corrupt and should be sanctioned. Tether put $700 million into El Salvador. Other countries are meeting with them. Argentina is meeting with them. Guatemala, all these other countries are meeting with them. How did you do it? We want to do this too, or just be part of it. Not Elizabeth Warren, though, ladies and gentlemen. If you recall, Pedro and I talked about this. We said the Biden administration and then the Kamala misfits will lose the election. They will lose the election if they keep ignoring crypto. And the reason is that all of the young people have crypto. And to have the government, at the time, the sitting government, tell them that they are criminals. Every 20-year-old and every 20 to 35-year-old was in crypto. To have the government say, you're a criminal and you're just with the North Koreans is not going to go over well. And it didn't. We saw that they voted in every demographic. They voted more than they had in the past. I'm not saying they were the majority of every young demographic voted for the Trump administration or for Donald Trump. I'm just saying more of them in every demographic you can come up with did. And yet still, the older Democrats are trying their hardest to say crypto is bad, digital assets are bad, and it's just criminals. And I go on about this, especially at the beginning of the show here while I'm waiting for Pedro. It's because we have another election coming up. We have an election in 2026 that once again could flip both houses. The House of Representatives could flip, and the Senate could flip. There's, every 2 years, 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election. And we could very easily see legislation being passed to undo what we've been working on for the past few years here, or few months, I should say. It seems like years since President Trump was elected, but it's only been a few months. And we could see all of that undone. And so when this craziness comes out, we have to bring, even at our small little voice here in DYOR Live, we've got to bring it out. Oh, let me check in and see where Senor Pedro is. All right, well, what I do, I'm going to show you the epic troll. There's nothing better. There's one thing for Pedro and I to troll Elizabeth Warren, but it's another thing for a world leader to do it. Let's see, this one. Here. Just salty. El Salvador President Bukele mocks Senate Democrats over Bitcoin scrutiny. You can't get any better than this. I mean, you really can't. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele was defending his country's crypto-friendly policies and taunting foreign leaders again on X this week, with U.S. Democrat senators being his latest target. In a pithy X post on Tuesday, Bukele mocked a bill submitted by Senators Tim Kaine of Virginia, Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, and Alex Padilla of California in June to probe his country's use of cryptocurrency and consider sanctioning him. This is the president of El Salvador. He writes, "Ha ha ha ha, the Dems are just salty." And that is regarding this tweet here. U.S. Senate bill calls for sanctions on El Salvador's Bitcoin strategy, targets Bukele's regime, as they call it, Bitcoin purchases, exchange activity, and alleged sanction revision. And there's a picture of the bill going. And it's actually called the El Salvador Accountability Act. And this is just laughed right out of the Senate. But I have to tell you, it could be laughed right back into the Senate. Right back in November of 2026. And do you want that? As a viewer of this show, we know you're going to say no. But there could be a lot of people that do want that. They get, oh, those El Salvador, oh my, there's a lot of voters grew up in the era when Central America was terrorists and rebel factions and all this type of stuff. Because the CIA might have been messing around down there too much. And so they hear, think, oh, El Salvador, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. If my grandparents were still alive and they heard this, they'd be like, oh yeah, sanction them. But no, they're doing very well down there. There's even American companies that moved to El Salvador for their Bitcoin divisions and stuff like that before the regulations were passed here before the Trump administration changed. Anyway, so an epic troll. They just love it. President Bukele has frequently mocked foreign authorities on social media in the past, including the International Monetary Fund and the Venezuelan government. The eccentric leader's response comes as he cozies up to President Donald Trump, who has controversially used El Salvador's mega prison to hold some people deported from the United States. Still, despite President Bukele's budding bromance with Trump, Democrats are pressing for an assessment of whether Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies have been used in El Salvador as a vector to evade financial sanctions imposed on other countries. What they're trying to say is, has Russia been funneling money through El Salvador and or North Korea? And the answer is problem. Because almost no exchange of Bitcoin or of Ethereum or Solana or anywhere that there's an exchange of that doesn't have a false account in. You can't find it. Coinbase in the U.S., every major U.S. bank, every investment house, every financial group has a false account in it that they try to weed out. It's so easy for someone from Russia, a frontman from Russia, frontman from North Korea, to give some old lady $20,000 and say, "Hey, open an account at Coinbase for us. Thank you very much," and then they use it. It's trivial. It's really trivial to do it. Pedro Garcia is coming on in the background, ladies and gentlemen. Check, audio, check. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Garcia is coming on in the background here. He'll be on in just a second here as soon as he fired up his camera. Pedro, as soon as I see you, I'll turn your mic on as I finish this up. But talking about El Salvador and President Bukele trolling the Senate Democrats for their... Pedro's sorry, he's Pedro talking to me, but he's not on the air. He'll be on there in just a minute. But anyway, as it says here in the article, obviously Bukele is a hardcore Bitcoin supporter and has been buying the cryptocurrency for the country's coffers, drawing the ire of some foreign politicians, including Elizabeth Warren and crew here in the U.S., and to the point where they introduce a bill that sanctions him and just calls him a crypto. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. The regime of El Salvador. But like I said, there's no financial institution on the planet that doesn't have a false account in it. So when you hear a politician say, "Oh, the North Koreans were running money through there," the North Koreans have run money through every financial institution in the world. Because it's so simple to pay somebody. There's a Korean in every country that will get bribed. And the North Koreans can go and say, "Look, we're going to give you $20,000, and your long lost cousin that's in North Korea will get a big promotion in his company and have a house and maybe even get his kids to go get an education if you do this for us." Okay, I'll open up a fake account for you. Here you go. Every financial institution has false accounts in it. So when you hear the media say, "Oh, they were just a front for the North Koreans or Russians or whatever," that happens at every financial institution. But anyway, so I thought I'd talk about that epic troll there while I had the opportunity. Pedro Garcia, is that your? Go ahead and talk, Pedro. Let me get you on here.
Oh, hello.
There you go. I got you.
There we go. Thought I had to shave a little today. With our meeting, I figured I can't look all grungy, so I got the baby face going on here. Alrighty. You know what I started doing, which is really interesting? I started messing with, you know how you have toothpicks and stuff like that? I started messing with cinnamon sticks. Doing that? Love it, man. Breath smells great. Then at the same time, man, got this thing going on here. Come on, people.
Now it looks like you've had a stroke because half your face is drooping from holding that in your mouth.
Wait, let me get the whole face. Oh no!
That's clickbait. Pedro stroke? And the answer, no, we were just joking. That's clickbait for you.
Clickbait.
Anyway, welcome to the show, Pedro Garcia. As I said earlier, we're on earlier today. But we got started later than planned, and then Pedro was finishing up a conference call that we were on. I'm going to drop off here in about 15 minutes or so. Pedro will continue the show picking up where we left off yesterday, talking about blockchains, and also going over whatever you viewers have questions about. So, like I said, as I always say, thank you to everyone watching. Thank you to those on Rumble that are with us. Remember, you don't have to have an account on Rumble. You don't have to pay to have an account on Rumble. You can just sign up using your Google or Facebook or whatever login. Just click it. And then by doing that, you can like our show. And you can comment on our show. And you can follow us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us, please follow us. We're up at 150-some followers now. We'd like to hit 200 here shortly. And want to get the attention of the Rumble people here saying, "Hey, these are a growing crypto show." Two actual guys here, not just these AI feeds that clog up all the categories here and a lot of streaming platforms. But these are real people giving you real information and bringing you edutainment, right, Pedro?
Giving you edutainment, as we've coined. Did you pick that up anywhere else, or was that really just us?
I've heard it somewhere else, like
okay,
a long time ago, I think.
And my PC is deciding it wants to be a douche.
Your PC doesn't like cinnamon sticks, probably. It's all sticky and stuff. And
I don't know what you're talking about. But cinnamon sticks is just like chewing on a piece of bark. What are you talking about?
Anyway, Pedro, before we get into it, because of the massive Bitcoin pump yesterday, and I was trying to do some research on it. Like I think on many platforms it reached a new all-time high, but I don't know if on every platform it did. Oh my God, my formatting is all
well,
off
if
here.
the majority of it shows that it is, then you just say it is. I mean, the reality is, I mean, I can sit there. If it's on mainstream Twitter and everybody's talking about it, it's as if it has, even if it hasn't been on every single one. I mean, OKX hit it. Boom, you can see. What else?
But regardless, the topic of the show is Bitcoin printing.
Yeah.
It's printing, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you in the spot market, your spot bags have gone up from where you bought at the highs earlier, and then it went down a lot, and now they've returned to your buying point. Many of you bought lower and have just increased your wealth. And then for those of you playing the futures markets that were long yesterday, you saw a significant increase. I was not long yesterday. I've been long a lot in Bitcoin recently. But that idiot box for the past couple days was too much for me, and I couldn't just sit around and play
This box right
that short scalp all the time. And I'm just not good at that. You have to be paying attention all the time. A lot of things going on, but a lot of people were long yesterday. They're like, "This is going to break out," and sure enough, it broke out yesterday. Pedro, I was watching. I was just like, "What?" Like the green candle just went whoop, and then it went whoop, and it went whoop again. It did the Pedro whoop whoop. And it went up faster than I've seen it sell off when you just have those, falling dagger red lines where you're just like, I can't believe it sold off that fast. It went up that fast yesterday, and that was amazing. And then it started to. I thought, well, this would be a good place to short. And so I tried to pick out a time for reversal. Made a quick $25 on it, and then it started coming right back. You can see it right there. I caught it just after that, and just as it started, the green started coming back up. I closed the short, so I made like $25 or something like that. And then it just started consolidating. I'm like, oh God, this thing might go up again, or it could do a Bart Simpson and just fall right off the edge there. So you never know. So I've got no position. Oh, you mean this right here? Yeah, it could do the Bart Simpson.
Hey man.
Right.
There you go. How does his eyes go?
Oh, let me get the great comment machine going here, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys are checking out my my drawing skills here.
That looks like a hungover Bart Simpson to me, or like Grandpa Simpson got a haircut.
Grandpa Simpson hair. Boom. There you all go. Boom. Drop. Anyhow, I think what's interesting is just the fact is we saw it come up. It made it pretty clear towards the end of the day. Like you could just see it, yesterday we were consolidating. Look, we were like you said perfectly, idiot box. And the worst part behind it is we really saw no indication of, except maybe yesterday, right, that we saw the increase in volume coming in right here. But I really wasn't paying attention to it that much towards the end of the day. And so that was this part right here that we saw that was saying, okay, but again, if you see right here, you see a huge seller stepping in. So it's like, so this pump up here from the end of yesterday was really interesting because, I mean, you could have said at the end of the day right here with the volume, right? Like that this volume was prepping for that. So this was definitely one of those areas that we saw kind of happening that was kind of undercover here. But I like I said yesterday, if the market is going up, we go up. That's just, you're not, if it's going up, it's going up. Look to go long. You know what I'm saying? We were staying above that 8-period moving average. We really weren't closing above it, like I said yesterday. And I said, we got to go up because the market is not showing weakness in the same way that even though we have low volume, we're not seeing it go lower. I'm not seeing them put in a ton of seller wicks in, And so that's where I was looking at the daily going, well, even though we don't got the volume, it's not closing at the lows. And so that shows strength. It's just that simple, showing strength. And so it makes sense that we went up yesterday. And we're also seeing a pretty good amount of volume coming in already for today. So we're probably going to see continue. If we close at the top of today, if we close green and we close above in this area here of like that 111, we're it's the next leg up. You know, I mean, we got good volume coming in, or at least decent volume coming in, and we close above the average, because the blue line right here is the average. This is the Bitcoin volume average, and you can see here yesterday we were above average. If we close at the average or above the average right here, which is around 4K, and I believe this is the Coinbase chart here, but they all look the same. If we see something like that, I expect this thing to go higher. I mean, it's just because they went down to go up. Oh, we got somebody here. Who is that? CCT? Is that the CCT TV? Was that the guy that I totally was making fun of on X?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just posted something. He's highlighted a thing. It's all good. It doesn't matter. So this is what I'm kind of
posted
expecting.
A comment that said, "Hey."
Oh, but I was.
Do you need your glasses?
No, I do not need my glasses. It's like his way of, it's like a perfect dig at me. I do not need my glasses. You know, dude, they're getting better, right? Like I can read it. Don't sound. Well, I've always sounded like
I know. For a while it was at the 3rd grade level,
like,
but now you're up to like the 5th
like
grade
6th
level.
Grade. I thought at least at 6, man. Dang.
For those of you that are confused, Pedro has a really big monitor in front of him that is sometimes difficult for him to see at his advanced age. But he's been doing some eye exercises with some special glasses that have that are helping him out, and I seriously think it's working because he reads better. When you see him reading and suffering, and you're suffering listening to him, it's not because the man never went to school.
Well, that's partly, but it's all good.
It's just because he's at this elderly stage of his life where he can't see in front of him. But he's fixing it. Anyway, good morning, Carmen Crypto. Good morning,
What's up? Hey, how you guys doing now?
Carmen coming to us from the great state of Nevada and the city of Las Vegas. I am alive, she says. She's been busy tramping around the world.
Yes.
Busiest woman in crypto, could possibly being the busiest person in crypto. We shall see about that. But she's heading off into a meeting at a stop by and say hello. Thanks for doing it. Please like, share, do all that stuff, Carmen. We need the help over on the YouTube. Trust me.
And also on Rumble, if you could do us a solid on Rumble, we'd appreciate that as well. We need 20 unique characters that people jump in and saying what's up. Right. Guys, I see we got 13 people. Thank you so much for watching us. You guys are absolutely amazing over on Rumble. Please do us a favor. Just log on, create a platform, create a small little profile, and just say what's up. Even if it's, I don't like that guy with the big old nose and the long hair and the white t-shirt with the weird background. I am so okay with that. Troll me. I would encourage you to troll me. Like, pick out some crazy thing. Go, I don't like this. I'm cool with that. Everybody loves to complain. So please come on in. And we actually saw it jump in people. Nice. Okay. Like, yes. All right. So one of the things I wanted to bring up here real quick as well. I've been talking about the NVIDIA and its movement, what's actually happening. It's just skyrocketing up, which is kind of crazy. Again, their whole entire connection that actually happened. They came out with, that new chip specifically for China, and that has just been gangbusters because Trump is going to, I guess, let NVIDIA sell it to them, which I don't know in detail if it's like the ones that they're selling us, but part of me is a little nervous. We already know that China has some of the hardest working people in the world. There is no safety net. We were on a conference call, me and Tom, today, with somebody who interacts with China quite a bit. She's like, listen, there is no there is no safety net there. Either you make it or you don't.
Right.
Like, and if you can make it, then you climb up to a certain point, and then you got to fight the government. But either way, you're constantly being battle tested in China. And I was actually kind of blown. I knew there wasn't necessarily a safety net, but in the same sense, they have a tougher mindset of overcoming. And part of me is almost wondering, if we give them even more, could we potentially see an overhaul of the AI system with even an upgrade of the chips that they're receiving? Because we haven't even been giving them a lot of even good chips, and they've been developing and doing well. So it's going to be
that whole chip. As far as I'm concerned, that whole chip argument is stupid. All it's going to do is cause them to put more research and design efforts and more intelligence into stealing our designs, and then they'll be making their own. And there's no way to stop it. And to think that they wouldn't be able to do that is myopic at best. I mean, anytime. I mean, we have tried to keep Iran from doing anything at all. Like, you can't even sell them a printing press. Yet they have newspapers, they have everything. You know, you're not allowed to buy anything even sort of related to making a nuclear bomb. Yet they have a whole facility, and a lot of the stuff they didn't just steal from elsewhere. They built themselves. Iran is one of the few Middle Eastern countries that now has a big manufacturing sector because the world banned them from buying it from everywhere else. And to think we can stop China from doing anything at all is impossible. All we need to do is outcompete them. And we can do that. We can do that day after day after day. On innovation, I mean, not on cheap labor. We can compete with China and beat them day after day.
Do they really have cheap labor?
Wait, hold on. Because we have the ability to let people do what they want, and they end up having some sort of safety net too. So it gives people the opportunity to be innovators. And until that happens in China, and I got to tell you, they got 1 billion too many people over there to do that. People have to outcompete each other for the limited amount of great jobs. Whereas in the U.S. and in Western countries, you're competing against yourself. You know, and so it's different. And so this whole business of like selling them different chips and all that kind of stuff, all it does is just say, all right, we're going to use these, but really we're spending the additional money to upgrade that chip and do what we need to do. It's like that in every industry.
I sit there, I agree with that, but then at the same time, I also think from a standpoint that giving them something, even if it's lesser than, I mean, are you not going to take it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. And so, I don't know. I would agree with you, but then at the other end, I also sit there and say that if you take, the thing is, hardship always makes innovation. You know, like, that's
how it works.
Thing. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, that's why we now have stoves that create fire. So I don't got to sit there and take 2 hours to get
round wheels instead of square ones to drag shit with.
Yeah. Well, and so it's like this idea of, or that's why we have, I mean, computers. I can send an email out literally because of innovation, because I was lazy and things were hard that way. And let's see how we can make it easier. I mean, anyways, so I want to bring this up because this idea of like that could be a negative thing for NVIDIA. I think it could be a positive thing, and we could see it keep going here. So this is where I'm kind of saying I wait for a pullback on NVIDIA. We bought some down at these levels here, but not enough. I thought we were going to come down to this level, that's 70, and normally my levels are pretty on point. So that was, I think we did have one at the 93 area, but I thought we were going to come to that 78, but we didn't, which is
really Mikester coming to us on Rumble. He says no video. I'm watching the Rumble feed right now, and I have video. If it's our thumbnail, there was a point when I was talking about Bitcoin printing. And then maybe you're just behind by a few minutes then.
Definitely.
But thanks for joining us anyway. Thanks, and Mikester, as always, if you've got a friend, Share this with them. We need 20 unique chatters a month to stay in the Rumble Creator Program.
So we'll see what we can
I'm
do.
I'm gonna add that logo to this. Pedro, I've only got a few minutes here before I have to run off here. I'll still be able to do some of the stream management stuff behind the scenes, but I won't be able to participate.
It is all good. We're gonna go over today some of these tokens that we were talking about for the meme coins, and we're gonna go over them. We know that they're bigly traded, and bigly going back all the way to 2017. First Trump, bigly. Give me a second. Also, Tom. I gotta pull back all the way into that.
Bigly.
There we are. Boom, pin. Alrighty, so we're gonna be looking at a lot of UFD, Peanut, Goat, Fwag, Bert, Fartcoin, Billy, Richard, some of these coins that we've been talking about. Billy, Bert, Act, and we'll have some fun here. So give me 1 second here, and we're gonna hit copy text. No. All right, boom. Okay, then let's go ahead now. Pull up the Goatius Maximus. What's up, Goat Maximus? That was one that we knew was gonna pull back, but it was so interesting to see it just, the whole entire AI coin hype just dead in the water, man. Like, just died. You're like, dang, dude. And there's so many goats out there now. Like, it's just goat on Sol, goat on BNB, goat on, you know what I'm saying? It's all over the place. They spread themselves too thin. But still, even then, they're at 100 million market cap, which is crazy. So let's go ahead and play around and delete some of these things here. We can see it bounce off of a lot of my zones. One right here. Boom, came down to the low here. Boom, but really almost came down all the way down to the very bottom here, which was kind of crazy. Still, we see a little bit of a pickup in volume and moving averages. They're still not clear of that 50 and 200 period moving average, but you can see that it's definitely fighting through the moving averages, and it does look like there is a pickup of volume here just a little. So I want to see it get above that 50 and see it get above the 200 period before we really start to see it. But at that point, that's still, that's a Goatius. Goat would still be at 156 milli at that point, and its peak was 2 billion or like 1.2.
Yeah, it was up there a lot.
Billion, yeah.
I remember when I first learned about it, I was like, it was long after.
Yeah.
It had pumped, and I was like, where the hell apply for this?
We learned about it.
I'm Zach, the founder and CEO of
and then I said,
AI is completely transforming how to.
Here, I said we should see a pullback down to here. It was a few days after, and I said, and so we put this down. Remember, we put this down here, and then it shot all the way up to like it was like boom. And I said, it's trading well. You're seeing down days, which is nice, right? Which showed that it was basically, people were selling and people were buying. It was a good month, right? Like, when did it launch? October 10th, and it lasted November 16th. Yeah, it was a good month where it just climbed. This was really one of the first ones that really saw a big pump, right? Obviously you had, from basically a small little AI on Twitter started talking with each other, and then all of a sudden this popped out, and it just sent. So real interesting, really interesting. Let's check out a couple of these other ones here. Let's check out FWOG here.
FWOG.
Meme coins, FWOG. There we go. FWOG is still kind of down in the area here. This is still trading with the weak. It's still kind of weak here, but I still like it down at these lower levels here. If we see it come down, I'd pick some up around that $12 million mark. But it's just kind of consolidating. So it's one of those ones that you could be picking up. Like I said, what we're doing here is you're putting $5 to $10. You're not putting a ton of money into these. You're just simply just kind of checking this stuff out. The other one was Major MLG. Let me see, where is it at? MLG. Give me 1 second. Main. There we are. Price. Yeah, still kind of playing in between our area here. Yeah, we're just still playing between that 8 and that 20 on that weekly. So yeah, this is definitely one of those ones that we're still kind of keeping an eye on. Meme coin, boom. Yeah, still in between stage, as you call it, the idiot box. Still in the idiot box. Let's check out our action.
Sorry, I was on mute there for a minute, Pedro.
You're all good. We're kind of playing in between that 50 and 100 period moving average, pinging back and forth. Let's see on this daily. Yeah, we're putting in a lot of seller wicks here. That's not good.
What chart do you have up?
This is MLG on Solana.
Major League Games?
Yep.
Major League Gaming.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I had a, as they call it, the sneeze that nearly exploded my head.
I've never had one of those.
And like the George Clooney line from the Storm movie, she's coming on strong. That's exactly what happened there.
You're Pedro, I'm going to step away here in case my head explodes.
Don't want to see that live.
We don't need to see that live on TV. Bam. All right, so that's funny. Again, we're seeing a lot of seller wicks here.
Pedro, it turns out I have a little extra time here, so I've probably got another 20 minutes here that I can stay on.
All right, cool. Let's check out WIF here now.
Well, I've got WIF.
Oh, WIF was really interesting. I liked what it was doing. Right here it is. Boom. Market cap. We were talking about, again, it was in that consolidation period, but I expected, because we started seeing volume kind of stepping in a couple of weeks ago, right, as we were kind of consolidating down. But now we're at this point where you can see we're starting to break outside of the 200 period moving average and also that 50. And we're watching it come in with the okay volume, which I'm now going to start deeming as decent volume, right, instead of okay, because since Iran has been knocked off of the nuclear energy to create and mine coins, we might not see that volume step in for a while. So I'm gonna call like good volume. We might not have that for a while until somebody steps in, but that could be this area here where maybe I have to readjust that and see maybe moving forward what's actually happening there. But ultimately, you can see starting to pick up right here. We're starting to go up. Now, what's interesting is when you look at the higher time frames, you can see that monthly we're hitting the 8 period moving average, but we've already put a decent sized demand wick in, so we could potentially push higher on Swift to that next level of the 2 billion from the 1 billion here where it's sitting. And so I would expect to see that start to kind of pick up here. And when you look at the weekly, that next level is literally sitting up at that 2 billion to about 185. That first target, you're going to look for the 50-day period moving average sitting at the 1.4 billion. And so this movement up here should be pretty hard this month. If we could see it this week, if we see it close above that 8, next week we'll see it come down and just kind of shoot right up to that 4 billion mark. So there you go, Swift. You guys are doing a good job, man.
Pedro, the great graphics machine is telling me that at that $1 billion market cap, in the past 24 hours, first of all, the price is up 12% in the past 24 hours. They've traded 561 million. Half of their market cap. They've traded $500 million as exchanged hands. Now, talking about a liquid market. Look at the logo on the screen here. It's a effing dog with some girl's hat on, sitting in a room like a hostage video.
Dog with hat.
Dog with hat. What does it do? Nothing. People have to mine it like Bitcoin and put resources into it and build companies. No, they just hit the buy button, buy, and then they hit the sell button, sell, and they did that 561 million times. Or the equivalent of it, if everyone's, that's amazing. Yes. We rarely see that ratio. It's basically, a 50% ratio of market cap to trading volume. It's amazing.
Well, that's why we picked a lot of these, right? It was because of the high volume that we've been. Well, that's why I'm looking at them, because there's a lot of trade volume there, which means that market can go up if it decides to go up, right? And it's going to be sustained in a sense, right? If this thing starts to go, so it's pretty nice to sit there and see it break through the moving averages. And I'm really trying to keep my ear to the train track so that I can hear the train coming down the road, which is going to be that Bitcoin altcoin season train. Let's go, right? And that's why I'm paying attention to a lot of these small coins here, because these small coins are going to give you an insight. I remember when it hit, what was the name? Pepe. When Pepe hit 500 million about 2 years ago. Remember that? It was like 100 million and it came back down to 10 million or something like that, 12 million. And I sat there and I said, we talked about it. And then Miss JH, she's known in the DeFi world a lot and just in the trenches. She's always in the trenches. Everybody knows her. And so I was talking with her and she's like, have you seen Pepe? She goes, I can't believe it hit like 100 million. And I go, yeah, but it's dead. And I go, but throwing $100 in, never know, might come back alive, And we said, yeah, but we never did it. Sitting at that 10 million. Now, Pepe is, what is like 2 billion market cap. So it's really interesting to sit there and see how these things can develop. And so when I say that, Swift is very similar to Pepe. Excuse me.
Not Taylor Swift.
Whiff.
Dog with hat.
Yes. Not Taylor Swift. She does wear the little beanie.
Pepe's
I just realized that's where the beanie came from.
Pepe's at $4.5 billion.
For Pepe. Dude. Imagine getting in at literally around, I want to drop back down to 10 million. Throw $100 in that.
Yeah.
What was that? That's a 400x. Dude, imagine the people who are in it at like 100,000.
100,000, yeah.
Market cap, 200,000.
And Mike Steer says there's now a dog with hood. I'm sure there's everything. I'm sure there's a dog with foot in the ass too. These guys come up with everything.
It's brilliant. All right. So one of the things I want to bring up here as well as with this is Chill Guy. Chill Guy was one of those ones also that kind of just kind of crept up on you. Most people didn't even realize, that it was what it was. It got some sensationalism, and so I'm keeping an eye on it because, again, it's one of these ones that you just don't know if the meme coin's going to explode or not. But $10 could turn into 1,000, or maybe even higher.
Yeah, you never know. Let's see, Chill Guy. I have that one here, I think. Did I run it?
Yeah.
There we go. I have Chill Guy up here. And it is just the Chill Guy is its real name. $66 million market cap.
Yes. And so, like, this is one of those ones that I'm looking at. I was checking it out last night. We're starting to see already some kind of pickup in growth. Now, again, it's still fighting with a lot of these moving averages, like a lot of these other ones are. But the reality is it's kind of pushing through these. And we're watching volume starting to step in as we're seeing a push up here. And so let's go into the market cap area. I was expecting to come down to a lower point here, but it's not. It's stayed around that 42 million, and it's starting to pick up some steam here at that 67 million. So I'm definitely looking for this upper level of catching the high of 158 million from the 67 million. So that could potentially be maybe a 2x here in the next month. And most likely, if this thing catches wings, I mean, it could get back up to that $800 million market cap from that 67 million. The only issue is that it's just got to beat that monthly. It's got to beat that monthly 8 above here. So if it can close above this 8 here on that month, you're golden. This thing's up, right? And expect it to push up if it does. Ultimately, we've got to see more volume come into it, but it's still being traded quite a bit. I mean, if you look at it, 1/3 of its, 1/3, about 20, 25, 50, about 1/3 of the volume is of its trading volume is its market cap, which is crazy.
Yeah, this is another highly traded one, and I'm actually quite surprised its market cap isn't higher with that volume.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going in and out. The other question I wanted to bring up here was Michi. Now, did we go over? Could we find Michi? I'm trying to remember who we were able to find.
I don't remember that one.
Michi. Boom. This was 2 mil, 15 mil. I don't think we went over this.
No, it doesn't sound familiar to me.
Well, let's go over here real quick then. Michi is one of those ones that I think has a, you want to pull it up. How much is the market cap daily?
Michi.
24 hours. Boom. I'll let you do that. I'll put the...
Let's see. Michi coin. It's an actual coin, they call it. Let's see what the great graphics machine says about them. It's the old Richard Dawson say, survey says, bing, 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 $15 million market cap, $4.6 million 24-hour volume. So very high volume to market cap ratio, especially for a small token. I mean, $15 million is nothing to laugh at. That's, it's in the, most projects never get a true market cap that high. And certainly most do not get $5 million traded during a day. But it appears to be at its lows, huh?
Mm-hmm. So, and it's high, its peak, I think it was sat at $360 million was their high. So that is sitting at 15 million. If this thing catches wings again, we could see it pick up. And the thing is already on the weekly chart. We're not even at the end of the week. You can see that we're actually beating out last week's volume here. So this is always a good sign of a potential pickup of volume pushing up. And you can see right here, they just have got to get through that weekly 8 and 20. If they can get through this here, then, and that's got to be, they've got to close above that 20 million mark. Right now, that's 1/3, or excuse me, that's that's 30%. They've got, but they could do it. I mean, they did it already here. They were able to close above it. So this would make obsolete this potential downtrend starting here. If they can get above these higher levels here. So yeah, Michi is another one that's potentially getting ready to pop, simply because you can see, and you're like, Pedro, it's hardly any volume. Here's the thing. We saw a decrease in volume, and now last week we saw a decrease. It was the first of the week or first of the month. It went down, right? And then if it was going to continue down, we would have seen an increase of volume, but we did not. Right. And so this week we're seeing an increase of buy volume come in. So if this thing is able to close above that $20 million mark or market cap, or the price point of 3.5 cents or 3 cents, 519 hundred thousandths, then that would be the like that.
Busted. Back to third grade.
But no, right? It'd be 10. No, what is it? 10th, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000, hundredth. Yeah, I was around 100,000ths, 100,000th of a cent. See, second grade, I passed it. No child left behind. There you go. I'm your product of No Child Left Behind. Yeah, baby. Thank you, California education system in the 90s. Really, we really appreciate you. I'm sorry. I'm just being a wild dude. All right, let's go to, we are going to hit meme coin. Boom. All right, next one we could play with is going to be Peanut. There we go, Peanut.
Peanut the squirrel.
Where are you, Peanut? There you are, Peanut. All right, Peanut. Again, this is another one that's starting to pick up some volume. We're starting to see it kind of come in, which is pretty nice. As you can see, the volume is picking up. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, back at these levels here. I thought we were going to see it go down a little bit more, but it's starting to show some strength there. So we want to pay attention here. What's up?
Hey, we got another good one here, Pedro. We got another good one here. The market cap and the daily trading volume are the same for Peanut the squirrel.
Wow, that is nuts.
I can't. That's a lot. That's a lot. And yes. I mean, it's like they fully like there's no more minting of that. Everything's released, and everyone's traded everything.
And it's still being traded, dog. This thing, it probably could send here pretty quick. And like, I want to make sure we're pointing this out, that we pointed this stuff out about 2 weeks ago, in regards, I think it was last week to 2 weeks ago, where I said, you're going to start to see a lot of, I think we could rabbit hole together. Yeah. Focus here. I think what the interesting part behind this is that in these markets, we're going to see, I think, money funnel into the IC first, or the small coins, where they're going to bring a lot of money in. It's going to just draw people into crypto. It just really will. People are going to become millionaires. People are going to literally become, I mean, overnight millionaires, where they go in, just like the guy who was he bought Doge during the previous bull run, or two bull runs ago. Yep. And when he bought Doge, he bought it for pennies, and then he was literally a mailman, right? He was the black guy. What was it? Crypto Jesus was his name?
Oh yes, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then you know, he pulls out his phone to check on his crypto, and he literally looks down. This is when Doge had that huge spike, right? It was the first initial spike where it got up to like 3. I don't know if it was
dropped
like
to 0. Yeah, it dropped to 0 or dropped 2 zeros or something like that.
Yeah, like within a day, just bam, bam.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he looked down, and he was literally a millionaire. And he was like, he looked at his job, he looked around, he goes, I'll give it a couple more days. You know, like, we'll see what happens, right? And then that's when we started seeing it, like, you know, he just, you know, at that moment when you're a millionaire and now every percentage jump is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in your bank account, right? And you're looking at, and he's just waiting, right? And then I think he said it got up to like 30 or 40 million dollars. And he's just like, okay, I gotta take this money. Like, it was so much money for him. But he said, like, it literally didn't even put much of a dent in the chart. He sold it. It kind of boom, but it just got picked right back up. And I just thought that was so interesting because when he tells the story, and then from that moment on, you know, like, you're a millionaire. That's what we'll probably see here with a lot of these other coins. Whereas, like, and let's not forget that we saw, you know, Doge get all the way up to $80 billion. Okay. 80, and I expect in this bull run, I expect this bull run to see a potential 120, maybe a 300, or maybe, you know, and I know this sounds crazy, but I do think we could see a $300 billion dollar Doge. And people look at me and go, what are you talking about? When the FOMO gets that real,
there's going to be big FOMO. It's going to happen.
Because it's already out there, and people are like lackadaisical right now, like, oh, you know, it's still low. And when they start to say, oh, so-and-so became a millionaire, or so-and-so just bought a house off of crypto, that extra 20%, right, that you're getting from your paycheck, because you're no longer having to pay taxes on your, you know,
sweet overtime and tax-free tip money.
That dude, I think that's going to funnel into crypto. Because people are going to start pushing that, and all of a sudden, then your mom and pop is going to get in, and then right here, it's just going to get stupid. You know, it really is. Lawmakers, we're going to see Warren just be like, no! You know, we're going to see Ms. Pocahontas probably pull out the arrow and shoot it off. You'll see Democrats come over to the dark side of crypto going, man, we're going to be able to fund our our political party here, and so it's going to be really interesting to see as it starts. And it all starts with paying attention to these micro mid-cap coins and their movement, because the money is already starting to pick up here. And so this is where I'm looking at this, and like, again, jumping back to Peanut here, we're
just so you know, while you were talking, I brought up the Dogecoin market cap, and it's at 27 billion. So a jump, that would be a 10x to 300 billion, and that's just going from the price level now of 18 cents. It would make new highs, obviously, but it's not. That's not out of.
It's not out of reach, is what I'm saying.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It'll go to 70 cents tomorrow if Elon sneezed, and people are like, it sounded like he said Doge when he sneezed. Extra Doge, and whoop, 70 cents, boop.
Yeah, so it's I do expect to see some of these coins that were just, you know, debtors, I call them debtors, but like hit 70 billion, 80 billion, 100 billion, because that is, I mean, we forget that Shiba Inu, I think their peak was 60 billion, right? And remember, they were a micro coin, started off like $100,000, right? So seeing those, as I burp, forgive me, seeing this aspect of these small coins, and that's why we're paying attention to them. They've got a huge community. There's a lot of people that are invested in this. And when you're watching such huge volume coming in and out, pay attention to this, right? This is the rumblings that are happening on the train track saying that the train is coming. You may not be able to see the train, but it's a rumbling, all right? And so this is where I'm excited about. I'm watching this stuff, and we'll go over how much time I got you for. We can go over a couple more.
At least another 5 minutes you got me for here.
All right, awesome. All right, so we got Peanut. We did right here. Let's check out Ponky. Let's do Ponky here. This is another one that we're coming up to that monthly chart here on the 8. And so it's got to get above this. But when you look at that weekly area, you can already see that it's starting to put in. And the fact that we ended, there was a lot of battling on the daily chart for last week. Even though we closed red, you can see that last week you saw a decent amount of green volume coming in. And so whenever I see a doji on a weekly that looks like this, right, equal amounts of wicks around the same size, like this right here, and then you go to the daily and you see more or you see more green volume, more buyers than sellers, this is when you want to sit there and start to pay attention. Like, okay, look, something's happening here. The game is afoot.
Something's happening.
Something's happening in your neighborhood.
$78 million market cap for Ponky, trading at 14 cents roughly. And almost 12 million in 24 hours. It's also up 10%. What's up with this 10% club here? Everything's up 10 or 12% in the past
algorithms.
Algorithms. Bitcoin pumped, and everyone said, all right, the rest of us are going to pump too. It'll be interesting to see if Bitcoin dominance moved at all.
I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so, and this is important to understand, is that I think that money is being made by these. I think the money is going to flow into a lot of the altcoins and then the micro coins, and I think you're going to see just a convergence of a lot of these things. So, and the big money is going to be in a lot of these smaller coins, right? Of sitting in that 100 milli, 10 to 100, 10 to 300 milli, because it has the potential to get literally to 50 to 100 billion. Like that 50 to 100 billion dollar market cap.
Yep. And
you're just like, wait, that's 4 zeros. Yes, that is 4 zeros. Right. And so you put $10 into this, all of a sudden it could potentially turn into, and that's what we're looking at. That's what I'm foreseeing potentially if in this bull run, this next bull run, we're already in it, but it's going to start progressing.
Well, there's no doubt that once Bitcoin's up in its highs and it consolidates for a while, people are flush with money, and they'll say, oh, I just made $5,000 on Bitcoin. I'm going to take $1,000 of it and put it in Ponky or Chill Guy or Doge, a regular, standard stalwart or something like that, and cause that Bitcoin dominance to come down a little bit and flow some money into the altcoins. And we know, doubling your money in Bitcoin right now is really only possible in the futures markets without a long-term hold. Doubling your money in altcoins, it could be a daily thing. It's much more. You're more at the craps table than at the baccarat table when you're dealing with altcoins. And so money will flow into it for sure. And we're seeing that already with just 10%. Everything we pull up is up 10%, 12%, 10%, that type of stuff. And so for you people at Ponky, be ready. Be ready. You guys have a lot of 24-hour volume. You have $12 million, even when you're towards the money is in the past few months has come way out of Ponky. But as we know, that can come back quickly. See Pedro's little lines down here? Those mean something. Pay attention to those. For all of you guys out there, it's going to hit this price here, probably. It's our opinion. And then it's going to go up. Because that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro, we've got 20 people watching us on Rumble, which means we have a bunch of new people. It's not throwing us an ad right now. I missed the first one. So it waits for a while to give you the next one. But I want to thank everyone that's watching us over there on Rumble. This is an interactive show, ladies and gentlemen. If you got a question about crypto, digital assets, whether it's technical analysis of it, fundamental, or just this and that, or rumors and drama, let us know. Use that comment thing. Sign on to Rumble. Sign on. Use that join button. You don't need to pay. You can just join, and you can click like, and you can click follow, and you can ask a question. We'd appreciate it if you did. What's next? You're on.
I don't understand how I do that, but it just always what happens. All right, so let's go ahead here real quick. We really love you guys. Come in, join the community, ask questions, jump in and ask. Like you can see Mikester there, ask questions, and you have Pedro Garcia. That guy's a weirdo. You know, I don't know. He's okay, but you know, come in. We'd love to have every one of you guys, especially if all 7 of you guys came in. It would really help us out immensely. All right, guys. So let's check this out here real quick. The next one we're going to play with here, and I think this is one of those ones that also is Popcat. Popcat was a big community. It wasn't one of those ones that you can sit there and say, I mean, they've stuck around and they're still in the game. And so watching Popcat just keep playing and keep fighting along, you can't put them out. You just, you know what I'm saying? They're starting to stand the storms of time. And why am I not pulling that up, Mr. Popcat?
It's coming up on the great graphics machine, I believe. Should be here.
Popcat.
Come on, API, do your thing.
There, this is it right here.
There we go. Popcat, $337 million market cap, $80 million traded. So we've got about a 25% ratio there. 20%, I guess, ratio of volume to market cap. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of these, if you look at the chart, it shows that they've come down a lot in price. But when they have this high of a trading volume compared to their market cap, they're just primed to pump. Primed to pump. And I got to do that again because I'm taking a screenshot. Primed to pump. As you're going through these, I'm tweeting them out to their communities again.
Awesome. So Popcat here, you're seeing a bit of a spike here on the month, which is cool. We're just starting the month. You can see here though that we're going to be hitting that monthly 8 on this one, and so I expect it to come down and test these lows here, roughly around the 120 milli to about that 70, potentially 50. Right now we're sitting at that 340, but it's got that period. We've got the 8 period moving average, along with supply sitting right here, which is sellers. So we'll probably come and tap this, come back down. They're going to stop a lot of people out right here. And then you would expect it to see it go, I believe, higher. It's going to absorb these sellers, let this come back down, and then boom, come all the way back up into these levels to the back. I think it'll probably hit 100 billion. And there's so many stops sitting right here and so many stops sitting right here that this would be the excellent position for a lot of institutions. And you're like, institutions are not involved in this. If it's got a big community, they're very much paying attention to it.
Yep.
Because that community means what? Exit liquidity.
You got that right.
And here's the thing though, that exit liquidity is going to be nice for you as well, because when they get involved, they'll stick in with that community, right? You won't know it, but they'll make sure that their money is safe, right? And so they'll play the markets correctly. Once it hits $3, $4, $5 billion, $6 billion, right? They'll come in, they'll be friends, and be like, hey, but have you guys ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about that? You know, I mean, let's not forget that the primary people that institutions hire are who? Kids out of college, right? And then they bring them in, say, hey, we have a crypto floor, we have traditional floor, where do you want to play? Everybody's running into the crypto floors already. I mean, we're watching TradFi trying to figure out ways to create a thing called perpetual futures, right? So we're definitely going to see some cool stuff that correlates with this. But I think part of these are already established, especially on Mexi and a lot of these other coins that you can trade. And so it's just one of those things that it's just we're going to see grow over time. And that's why we're looking at these communities here. So I'm expecting Popcat to kind of see a bit of a sell-off, come back down to this lower area. But again, I expect a big pump here, right? Another one, right? Because this, again, has a big community. There's a ton of volume being traded with it. And to see it kind of come back down, come back up, and potentially get back up to that $1 billion mark. So it's going to be kind of exciting. We'll see what's up, though. That's about it when it comes to that. Let's check out Fartcoin here real quick, because I know it sounds so crazy for us to sit there and say that, right? But
I just, every time you do this, I go right back to the Minions movie, and the guy creates a fart gun. When the guy said, "Make me a dart gun," I said dart gun, not fart gun. I watched that so many times with my son when he was younger. He'd laugh so hard. He'd laugh when he was young. He'd, fart gun.
It's amazing. Now he's a rocket scientist.
Right, now he's a rocket scientist.
And he's ever serious and very professional. Has the professional goatee as every rocket scientist has, as he sits there and ponders the world's and universe secrets of quantum and.
Well, he said, Dad, you know what? He said, rocket scientists, they build a lot of rockets that go to outer space, but what do most rocket motors do? And I was like, he says, no, they kill people. They're on missiles. I said, oh, so now you're Dr. Death. He goes, possibly.
Son, don't say that.
I hadn't contemplated that. My mind was in the optimistic world of traveling the heavens and exploring new planets, going places that no man has gone before. And he says, actually, most rocket motors kill people.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Fartcoin at $1.1 billion, ladies and gentlemen. $270 million traded in the past 24 hours. Also is a member of the 10% club in the past 24 hours, up 10%.
So these are those little things you need to pay attention to. I thought we had done this. Oh yeah, that's what it was. We didn't do it because we ran out of time. All right, so we've got one monthly area. We could see it kind of pull back. We've seen some sellers already come in, which is right up at this level here. You can see here we got some sellers here. So we're kind of in some supply area. But if we start to see, FOMO step in, that Fartcoin could potentially get up and get going, and we could see some real steam come in, as pun intended, up to the upside. As what is the gas that is created? Methane. As methane is light and rises, you could see this chart get light and rise.
I can see people arbitraging the methane gas market via Fartcoin. There's probably a spread. There's a crack spread you can do. You can figure out there.
Call it the crack spread.
I know. Ladies and gentlemen, crack spread is a term by arbitraging heating oil and then crude oil and stuff like that. Literally. The crack spread. Yeah. Fartcoin, you have your own kind of crack spread.
Dude, why are we? Dude, you're such a dude, bro. Ultimately,
I'm totally posting that before I go here.
That is awesome. But I like this area here down, but it's above the moving averages, and we're seeing volume starting to step in now. So if this thing closes for the week at these upper levels above that 8-period moving average, expect to see this thing start to pick up and go. It might not come back and tap this low here, and we could see it push back up and get above potentially. I mean, because there's really nothing besides this level here, which is something to be paying attention to. But if it breaks down 150, there's nothing until we get to the 270. And right now we're sitting about that 1 billion mark. So we could see this thing get up and go again once we break through that 8 period. But it's got to close above that 8 period with more volume. If we could see a higher volume amount than last week, it's donezo. This will probably send as well for Fartcoin. And then the good old crack spreads. Bro, when you said that, I immediately thought of the spread between energy. Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, there's commodities that are traded for the crude oil, gasoline, and it's all charted already. And so you can sit there and take the spreads between it. And so that, and they call it the crack or whatever, right? Crack spreads and these small nuances that you could take advantage of it by. That sounds so horrible.
Cracking is the process of taking heating oil
awesome.
or crude oil and distilling it out into its distillants, into gasoline, benzene, diesel oil, bunker oil, all that type of stuff. And so arbitraging between those different distillates is called the crack spread. And it's same with Fartcoin.
Yes. All right. So one of the things I think is interesting also is when you look at like unicorn fart dust. This one. Oh my.
Let's see, 120. All right, Pedro, I gotta get going. As soon as I get done with this tweet, I gotta get rolling here.
All right, let's do one more. Let's just do unicorn fart dust as well.
All right, give me a second to pull that up. Right, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm just getting confused.
That's okay. Sorry.
120 crack spread. 124.
Oh. This is one of the ones that I was looking at. It has such a huge community. I mean, it's got such a big community. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of momentum yet, and so it's kind of DIA right now. And I don't see it being traded much. But again, there's a big community for UFD. So I could only imagine that sooner or later that this will probably take off here, just simply because money likes to, once you have an excess amount of money, people want to sit there and look for another deal. And again, I think unicorn fart dust will be one of those ones. It's so weird, but it's just the way. I wonder what the new names are going to come out. Are they going to be cruder or funnier in the next ICO that comes out, right? This is part of the last previous ICO that came out this bull run here. So these are these coins that we're looking at. And so this is kind of like it's kind of a Hail Mary. This is probably one of the lowest ones that are on our system. But again, this is an area that we're going to be paying attention to as well. We'll probably bring up a couple new coins next week as well. But into this week, I just want to check back with a lot of the ones that we were looking at. This week, we went over a lot of Technical Tuesday, explaining where I'm expecting to see the market starting to rebound and pull back up the dollar. And we went over a lot of technical stuff in relationship to what I expect maybe the job market's going to happen and what's going to correlate out of that. Today, we did have, what was it, jobless numbers? What was it here? We forgot to mention that as well. Come on, you can do it.
Pedro, Mikester's telling us Bitcoin is now officially at 112,500. It did in fact pump out of this consolidation phase that it did. It pumped nicely here, starting at 111.2, went to 12, as high as 12.6. I'm looking at Mexi's futures. Pedro, I do need to get going. Do you want to continue the show and bring up a few things?
Jobless claims tomorrow.
Do you want to continue the show, or do you want me to shut it down?
Let's go ahead and shut it down.
Okay.
Just for now, just simply because I'm pretty dry without you. So and you bring a lot, and your laughs, you bring a lot of levity within what I say. So I can be a bit dry because I'm just all about numbers and checking out.
Read the comments there.
Oh, what are people saying? Give me 1 second.
The most recent one?
Hey, what's up, Pixie? It's good to see you. What's up, sis? Hope you're well. I don't know if she wants to come on. She can. She's more than welcome.
That's not now.
Tomorrow,
tomorrow
Pixie, come on tomorrow. We can have fun. It'll be a good time. So let us know if you can make it tomorrow. It'll be cool. You hear that, guys? All you thirsty dudes? There's going to be a girl on DYOR, not just two morose men over here. So good times. Come on tomorrow, Pixie. It'll be a blast to have you. I'm gonna close it down here simply because Tom is the levity to my to my farting. Without the levity, guess what? It just stinks. So unless it lifts and moves up, the lightness. I was in the hospital for a little over, oh my goodness, my voice is a bit weak, but I can do that for y'all. Thank you. Well, we want you to be safe, sweetie. So if you feel up to it and you feel strong, come on tomorrow and we'll love to have you. If you don't, take your time, sis. Recovery is so important. So,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. Good, nice little earlier show and shorter show. Got a lot talked about. Talked about a lot of the meme coins today. Stuff we all need to pay attention to. We are hitting an all-time high again today. Bitcoin is printing money, printing millionaires right now. Why are you not on the Bitcoin train? Well, if you're watching this show, we already know you are. So get your friends in on it. Bring in some exit liquidity for the rest of us. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, we'll be here again tomorrow. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. The man in the box next to me is Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, bringing you the analytics, the indicators, and the trades that should fatten your bags if you learn from him. Anyway, we will see you at the same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. So be there.
Love it. All right. I know you got to go.